Okay, man. We learned of reports of Caitlin Clark getting the offers to play in the Big Three League. Very interesting. What say you? What's your thoughts on that? Hearing about those reports, you think she'll have a
Man,
chance in the league, the Big Three?
the thing is, I give Caitlin Clark all the props of what she's completed and what she's done and where she is. And she will be the first draft pick in the WNBA this year, no doubt. Putting her in the big three, you're not going to see Caitlin Clark. To me, I think that's a publicity stunt. Caitlin Clark will not be able to hold her own against none of those players on a one-on-one basis. They are all grown men, big grown men that's going to put their body up against her. She can shoot lights out. She can do all that, but 3-on-3 is different. And then you taking a woman, you take the same type of NBA player or professional player that's the same size as her, which is a little more than average, and I don't think that she can stand a chance on that. So let's get the best out of her and let her go to the WNBA and kill there because I don't see it happening in the big three. But nice try, Ice Cube.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you just said. I have a question for you though. If
Okay.
let's say that became a real thing and she really got an offer and she signed and she played in the Big Three, do you think that diminishes the respectability of the Big Three league?
No, that would be cool. But my whole thing is if you're going to do that, you need to add a female to every team. So that way they have a matchup. You know, I mean, because he didn't say that it was a men's league. He said it was a 3-on-3 league of former basketball players. At first, it started with former NBA players. Now it's just former basketball players. So if you kind of look at it a little bit, he will be changing the scope again because technically she's not a former player. I mean, she's a former college player, but she ain't even played professionally yet. So now, if you're changing it to that, then that means that amateur guys can come play too. And every guy that played in there so far has played professional somewhere, overseas, wherever. So they all played professionally. So, you would have to do a lot more changing if you wanted to make that happen.
As I'm listening to you talk about this, I got a lot of thoughts on this. Like I just thought, in some ways, you could look at it. If she played in the Big Three, Caitlin Clark would she be a DEI hire? Maybe that's a thought. And certainly, I'm all for evolution, and certainly if you added a woman to each team, that would be like DEI hires or something. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I wouldn't want to see that. When I
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that I got on that as well. Why are you starting with her and not with some of the stars that's in the league now? Asia Wilson, all of them that's in the WNBA, because you're talking about doing it on a time when they're not playing during the WNBA time. So if that's something that you was gonna do, take the top stars in the WNBA now. So that way, when you migrate that over, then you can do that. But you're not offering none of them 5 million. So the thing is, these women are proven in the WNBA. I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking that from Caitlin. I think she's going to come out and do her thing, as long as they don't try to overcoach her. So I really think she's going to come do her thing. But come on, start with somebody that's proven, and don't let's start right here, and then you want to make that move from there because, like I said, it looks like a publicity stunt.
Yeah, I believe it's a publicity stunt. I think it would gimmick up and all what already is slightly a gimmick league. And I think that would just make it gimmicky to add a woman, to add Caitlin Clark. She's not even a proven professional yet, So let me see her win like 2 or 3 WNBA MVPs or something. I mean, come on, man. Oh yeah. As I'm thinking about it, it's kind of silly. It's almost insulting to me as a sports fan to offer me that product. Yeah, I don't like it at all.
I get it. I get it.
Okay, man. A big joy for me this week. My guy, one of my
Yo, guy.
favorite players, the big man, Joel Embiid, made his return last night. Looked real good, I think, against the Thunder. Got the victory. He was big in the clutch. I'm wondering, how is this? I hadn't thought about the Sixers as an impactful team in the East since Embiid has been out, and I wasn't sure that Embiid was going to return. So now that Embiid is back, what do you think? How does this impact the 76ers and the playoff chances?
That's a good question. First off, it depends on how the investigation go because Joel Embiid was questionable 30 hours before the game, and 2 hours before the game, he was. I mean, I'm sorry, he was not questionable. He was a no go. 2 hours before the game, he became questionable. Then he wound up in the start lineup. I'm glad to see him come back and play and do what he did. But minus the investigation that they have, um, I think that they can jump the Miami Heat. I think that if he come back and he's doing like he did last night, they can come back and jump the Miami Heat for the seventh spot. I don't think they're going to catch the Pacers, but I think they would jump Miami Heat.
Yeah, I think they're gonna improve their spot. The Heat and the Pacers, they have virtually the same record. And I don't like what I'm seeing from the Pacers lately. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Pacers lately. I haven't been impressed with the Heat for a while, but they're a team that I don't bet against, I guess. You know, I say they never surprise me if they win. They don't surprise me. I'll say that. But as far as the Sixers, it's going to be very important to improve your seeding. You don't want to see the Celtics in the first round. You don't want that. You know, not with a hurt Embiid. I mean, Embiid usually dominates the Celtics. So you want him healthy and ready to roll when you run into them. So the other option is jump these guys, get that 7 seed, and face the Bucks in the first round. The Bucks can be beat. You know, I'm not saying the Sixers will beat the Bucks because I've been heavy on the Bucks this season. So I'm not saying the Sixers will beat the Bucks, but I am saying the Bucks, they can be beat. We see that they're
Of
vulnerable.
course,
They
of
lost last
course.
night to the Wizards. Who
Well,
can
they also
explain that?
lost. They also lost to the Memphis Hustle.
Right, they did that. They did that. So I mean, how can they explain these losses? And it's unexplainable for a kick-ass championship team. You don't drop games on a Tuesday night in Washington to a team. The Wizards are not even a respectable NBA team. I don't. They're just a ball club. You know, they're not
Well,
even.
hey, right now Memphis isn't either. And
Yeah, I agree.
when I said hustle, I was referring to the G League
Right.
because what they got 29 players that suited up this year and everything. So they're not the Grizzlies that we know.
No.
They're the hustle with JJ in there.
Yeah. Yes, the only regular player they got is Jaren Jackson Jr. I
Yep.
mean, everybody's hurt for the Grizzlies, you know. So hurt or yeah, everybody's injured. So they're not
First
a
string,
real team
second
right now.
string, and third string.
But I'm not expecting much from Philly in the playoffs, like I said, because they're so far behind now. Their first round matchup is going to be so tough. If they face the Celtics in the first round, unless Embiid shows me something amazing in these next 2 weeks
he's
here,
gonna he's gonna have to be consistent every game, doing like he did then. If he did, then they could be right back on track and start off where they ended before he had his injury.
as far as his conditioning, he looked good last night. As far as he didn't look tired. Like I said, he had it down in the clutch. He was the reason they won. He made plays in the last seconds of the game. So I was really impressed with his conditioning. Glad to see that. But I don't know. Like I said, I want to see Philly for a while before I judge them. They haven't been on my radar the past few weeks with the Embiid injury. But I have been impressed. They won a lot of games with him out. I think they were above 500 with him out. I think I'm not sure. They lost enough to be in the eighth seed right now, so that's a lot of losses. But
Mo Bamba holding down the paint.
I didn't say that. I'm not saying that. It was more Maxey was doing his thing. Tyrese Maxey was doing his thing, and he's amazing, you know. So he took a step to another level this season. Real impressed with that kid and his
Well,
play.
he did it the year before Harden got there too. So when Harden
Yes.
got there, you see that's what counseled him out a little bit. So you can see the difference of a cancer that certain players can be towards other players, and that's really not taking a knock on James Harden. But the thing is, Maxey was
Sounded
coming
like it.
into his own. Hey, I mean, if it sounds like that, okay, so be it. But the thing is, that's not what it was really about. You got a player that's coming into the league that's developing, and then you bring another player that's established and give him the ball. that player is not going to develop the way they normally play, especially when you put the ball in the hands of somebody that's ball dominant. So right there, I mean, look at it. You look at it prior and you look at it after Harden and you see the difference. So the thing is, Harden was a problem for Maxey, for his development, for where he's going.